Hello, I'm Natalie Mack of Homeschool Natalie Mack, and I'm going to take a minute to talk with you a little bit about how to decide those homeschool high school classes. Specifically, the question that we want to talk about is actually like making sure that you're not making decisions based on fear, right? And I'm going to share that I have an upcoming webinar this Thursday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. But let's just chat a little bit about what the whole concept is about, and, the worry and the anxiety and all the things. So let me ask you something. And the question is, like, have you ever looked at high school and thought, am I doing this right? Am I choosing the right classes? What if I mess this up? These are real questions that people have. So if you're listening, you're thinking, no, I got this. I haven't never thought that. I'm good. I've graduated several kids. Like, why would anyone think that? You all, these are real questions that people ask, that people have, that people are concerned about. Anxiety about homeschooling high school is a very real and present fear for a lot of families. And so I want to come alongside you and support you and move you as best we can into a place of confidence and not fear, right? And so, because you don't have to live in the fear of homeschooling high school, you don't have to live in that fear. So let's talk a little bit, all right? Because we know this is one of the biggest stress points for homeschool parents. So did you hear me say that? You are not alone if you feel the stress and the worry and the concern, all right? Because it's one of the biggest ones for homeschool parents. But none of us, none of you all, anyone living in fear and worry and anxiety and angst about homeschooling high school, you don't have to stay there. And so I talk to parents all the time who are doing one of three things. They're copying someone else's plan. They are overloading their child just in case, or they are completely stuck in not really sure where to go, like unsure where to go, right? So all of that mask fear. Underneath all of that is fear. Those questions are generated by fear. Those actions of copying someone else's plan is generated by fear. Overloading your child just in case, that's coming from a place of fear. Now, I will say, when we talk about copying someone else's plan, you may think, well, what's wrong with like talking to people and finding their plan and what they've done well and the textbooks they've used and the courses they've chosen, like, and mimic that. There's nothing necessarily wrong with it. It's just that their children and their homeschool journey is not yours. Their children are not your children, and they homeschooled in a different way than what you may be homeschooling. So it's okay to learn from each other and embrace each other and have those really nurturing, great conversations about how did you do it? How did you make it through, right? Homeschooling, high school. But when you actually are driven by that intense fear that if I don't copy the right cat, then I'm messing up. I'm going to fail, and my kids are going to, their education is going to not advance them to the next phase, right? So underneath all of that is fear. It's fear that your child won't be prepared. It's fear that you maybe are going to close doors and opportunities for your child. It's fear that you will get high school wrong. So many families have homeschooled well from kindergarten to 8th grade. Like, it's been working, bonding, field trips, opportunities. They see it. They enjoy it. The kids are thriving, right? And then guess what? They decide, oh, high school, I can't do that. I'm no longer capable. I don't have the capacity. I might mess up. Like, someone else can do a better job with my own kids than me. Now, that's not to say that you need to know every subject. Like, you don't need to be a math expert, a science expert, an English expert, right? No one is. Even licensed teachers are not experts, and every child in their classroom is different and unique. And for a matter of fact, even the most invested licensed teacher can't meet all the needs of 30 some kids in their classroom. But you, the parent, will either equip yourself or you can find either the curriculum, the tutor, the online class, the co-op, the neighbor down the street that you share classes with because your kids and their kids, right? Like you will, as a homeschool mom, you're gonna find the right like people. You're gonna find the right resources, definitely. Okay. And so I want to make sure that we don't allow fear to drive us, and we don't allow fear to control us. There are better ways. There are more peaceful ways. You can get this done without being driven and live by fear. And we're going to talk on Thursday in the masterclass. I want to make sure that you get a little bit of idea of my passion. I didn't share my experience. We homeschooled 23 years. We finished our last of 5 in June of 2025 last year. He is finishing up his second semester as freshman in college. The other 4 have all graduated college. So our journey is not the only successful destination to college. There are other journeys. We know that careers, trade, military. But what we're going to talk about right now is launching kids to college. Those kids who want to go to college, those kids who you are homeschooling that you want to go to college, right? So we're talking about a college bound, but I will leave space that's not the only destination. So that's our journey and our story. And I'm passionate about coming alongside and saying, you can do it too. Like our success isn't just for us. It's for you too. It's for your kids too. And you don't have to live in fear and you don't have to be driven by fear. All right. So let me get along with this because I'm just getting into it as if this is the masterclass. So see, make sure you share this live and click that link. It's free. Get registered. I'm just pouring out my heart. And I love to do that. I am a homeschool speaker. I travel around the world. And I am a homeschool consultant. And I'm an author. So I'm in this space because I want to be in it. We finished. But I'm here because I believe in you. And I believe in the well-being of your children. I believe in homeschooling. And I want homeschoolers to thrive and not live in fear. So I want you to hear this clearly. There is not one perfect high school plan. I can say that again. There is not one perfect high school plan because high school is not about checking boxes. I mean, there are some boxes, there are some things to check, especially, like depending upon where you want to go, if it's a highly selective college or not, do you need the SATs, ACTs? Those are boxes. The APs, dorm room, those are boxes. But that is not really what high school is necessarily about. That's not the biggest piece. It's about building a strategy that works for your child. You're not necessarily trying to impress a college. You're trying to prepare your child to soar, to thrive in whatever environment that your child goes next, whatever type of college, right? So when you focus only on what classes should your child take, you're going to miss the more important question, which is what does my child actually need? What does my child actually need? That's a different question. That's not saying that you don't look at the question of what classes should my child take. Definitely. We had a Division I athlete, right? So we had to go through the NCAA eligibility process. I do offer consultations on that because I believe that homeschoolers who are passionate about playing college sports, that students don't have to go back to brick and mortar or don't have to transition to a brick and mortar. You can continue on. So there are classes that athletes getting, those high school athletes have to take to get the 16 core courses done for the NCAA eligibility process. So yeah, it is important to focus a little bit on what classes you take, but that's not the driving thing, right? Just like not trying to impress college, it's not the driving thing. It's preparing your child. It's asking, what does my child actually need? And each of your children in the high school years is going to be different. So you got to ask that question for each child, and the answer may or may not be the same. So This is exactly why I created the live workshop this Thursday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's free, and it's how to decide the homeschool high school classes. Like, you don't have to worry and stress and guesswork, right? So in the workshop, I'm going to, walk you through what actually matters on a high school transcript. What doesn't matter? Like, there are some things that really just don't matter. Where do you put those things that maybe don't need to go on the high school transcript? How do you choose classes based on your child? Not comparison, right? And a simple framework that you can actually use year after year. So instead of guessing, you'll have a clear plan. Because right now, many parents are choosing classes out of fear. They're adding things that they don't even understand, or they're trying to do everything just in case. And what happens then? Students have a tendency to get overwhelmed. Parents get burned out, and the plan may not even match your child. Like, you're just trying to get a plan and like throwing like spaghetti on the wall, right? Like, let's just make it stick, right? Like, let me just put this kid in swimming because like that's the best we can do. Like, the child might not be a swimmer, right? So it doesn't always work out that way. So let's kind of think about that, and let's understand that there's, again, no perfect plan, and you don't want to just like throw a plan out there just in case. Like, everything needs to go. Like, we're going to cook everything for Thanksgiving. Maybe that wasn't a good analogy, because Thanksgiving we do want to put everything on the table, right? But you know what I mean. And so, but imagine this: what you're going to walk away with from the workshop is exactly what your child should focus on this year, coming up, because we're getting towards the end. How to balance rigor without burnout, and how to make decisions with confidence. And you will stop second guessing every choice. So if you have a middle schooler coming up, a current high schooler, or you are already in it and you're feeling just a little bit unsure, or I just have a few questions, or I want to make sure that I get this right. Again, no perfect plan, no perfect high school, right, existence, but we can like look at some things and pull together some things and give you some freedom to really thrive as a homeschool parent of a high schooler, so your student can soar and feel like not that stress and pressure. There is some, right? But some of it's excessive, and we don't have to live under that, and you don't have to homeschool under that, right? And you definitely don't have to pivot to a brick and mortar public or private school. Nothing against that, and if that's where you feel led, fine, but you don't have to. You have options, and you can continue homeschooling high school, and you can be successful. So I want you in this workshop. It's happening this Thursday live, and I'm going to walk you through this step by step. You do not have to figure this out alone. High school doesn't have to feel overwhelming. You just need the right framework. So go ahead and register. The link will be in the comments, and it's free. And I'll see you on Thursday, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time.